This is Pet Life Radio. Let's talk pets.
Hi, everybody. My name is Brent Atwater. Welcome to my show, Alive Again. We're back. We took a little rest in there for a while, and now we're back strong and in your face with new stories about afterlife and guidance to help you be your number one resource for afterlife signs, after-death communication and connection, and all things good. Now, today's story is, that's right, it's going to be in our series about heavenly beings who come to be with you in an earth suit. And you're going, what? Yep, we're doing 3 stories, and you need to tell us, do you think the first story with Angel was an angel or a spirit guide? And at the end of this, was Boone an angel or a spirit guide? And if you want to know how your pet might be either an angel or a spirit guide, I have an on-demand class that you can find on my website that you can go through, check all the points, and see what you've got in the fursuit. So today we're really honored to have Brandon and Brittany Badrick, isn't that a cool B, and hear their story. And I'm so honored that they were taking the time to show this. And I'm so honored that I got to meet their dog, Boone. And throughout all of this, I do want, if y'all need extra help out there in listener land, go to our Facebook pages. We have Animal Life After Death for people, and just for people who are hurting from pet loss. Yeah. Go over to our YouTube. I make a fool of myself in a lot of little outfits, but hopefully it'll help heal your heart. So let's start with Brandon. I want to tell you, I admire this man. He was a medic in the field, and you take it from there, because I'm going to sit back and listen and go, oh.
Okay. Well, many moons ago, I was
Is that 2 or 3 moons, or just 4 moons? How many moons?
I'd say about 4 moons now.
Okay,
it feels like 10, but, you know. Okay. I was a Navy medic, or corpsman. That's the easier way, I guess, of saying it. And did special operations medicine. And my career, unfortunately, took an abrupt end after my last deployment, where I was wounded pretty badly. I had my spine partially dislocated and shrapnel through my leg, and they thought I was going to be paralyzed. And I ended up kind of beating the odds and, you know, recovering, making a really good recovery. And then, go ahead.
I was just going to say, everybody out there, and this is why we stand for the flag. Go ahead.
Yeah, and my life really took a weird turn, because I did not expect, you know, to get out. I thought I was just going to be doing that the rest of my life. And so, you know, there's a lot of things that happened in my life too around that time. You know, I was previously married. We got divorced. It didn't work out, and I had to find a new career. You know, so I was approached by a local sheriff's department here in Arizona, and I took a job with them, and I had the opportunity to become a canine handler. And ever since then, my love of the working canine was, you know, born. Then from that point forward, you know, as time went on, I kind of figured that doing that job at that time in my life was not something that I wanted to continue doing, and I was going to continue doing.
Was this because of your health, or you thought that you would be stronger in medicine?
I was stronger in medicine, but it was also too, you know, it was the nitty gritty politics, I guess you could say, of things. And, you know, it's just some people it works out really well for them and other people doesn't. I think it's just more so at that time I was really struggling, you know, with looking back and being upset of what I didn't have anymore. Mm-hmm. I guess it's more so the thing. And, you know, I think it's something that a lot of people struggle with too, is, you know, everyone's so focused on what they don't have that it ends up dragging them down. And then the other thing too that a lot of people don't really talk about, including veterans, is survivor's guilt. So I dealt with that, you know, for quite a while as well, and depression.
And when you say you don't have, it's like I used to be a AAA personality, and now I feel like I'm a C or a D, right?
You know, it's just It's just like things like that, and you know, or wanting things, or having something you had, not having anymore. You know, including, you know, most relevantly now, you know, like with Boone, but now it's more so we're grateful, you know. But you know, a few years went by, and a lot of changes, and fortunately I was able to kind of go down a completely different path of starting my own business. And then I met Brittany, my wonderful wife. We've been together now 6 years. And it was interesting, though, because we came into each other's lives at, I think, a very critical turning point for each other, where it was time to grow and time to move on and time to better ourselves as human beings and heal. You know, she comes from a different background than I, obviously, and she had, you know, some rough patches in her life, and same with me. And I think if it wasn't for finding each other, we wouldn't be where we're at today.
All right, now everybody notice, remember in the first show and in this show, I'm going to say the little dings when they're little signs here about the heavenly being stuff. Notice that everybody has had a past that was very troublesome or had lots of learning opportunities, major lots of learning opportunities to evolve. And this is just a little sign that the universe is setting these folks up to have a heavenly being come in. Go ahead.
Absolutely. You know, it's funny. We were even sitting yesterday, or actually we're on our way, we're driving, and we're having that conversation where it felt almost, you know, kind of like a divine intervention of her and I meeting each other, because it was just weird in the way that it happened. And then second of all, it was, you know,
how did it happen?
Well, she actually came to me for work. You know, she came to my business, okay. And I never date my clients, and I've never done it before. And there was just something about her. It was very, I guess, animalistic is the best way that we describe it.
Okay.
Where we're just like, oh my God, you know, it's just like such a heavy attraction. And, you know, ever since then, we've been inseparable.
Little soul recognition there is what you're calling. Yeah.
Absolutely. You know, it's just like, hey, I know you. You know, it's like our souls like knew each other.
And folks, by God, they did. They've been together in another life. But go ahead.
Yeah. And you know, from there, you know, it's just been a lot of growing and changing and finding ourselves, you know, individually and with each other, which has been wonderful. And, you know, as our life moves on, you know, and moved on at that time, we have a lot of goals and things like that we want to do and achieve. And one of the things that we started doing that both of us are very passionate about was always rescuing animals and wanting to make a better impact, you know, as far as that world goes. So we ended up getting a lot of dogs and just
big ones too, and wolves and whoa.
Yeah, we have quite a few dogs and our wolves. But you know, it's funny. I want to say around the time before I got Boone, I had a fire lit under me where I wanted to go back to law enforcement. And, you know, I missed being a canine handler, and I missed that, you know, doing that. And I was kind of upset with myself that I left in the first place. It was funny. I was getting myself ready again to go back into that field. And one of the things that I missed most was being a canine handler. And my working canine, when I was at the sheriff's office, she passed suddenly. I had her for quite a few years, but she unfortunately succumbed to epilepsy. She used to get massive seizures, and unfortunately she passed away. And so for a long time, I didn't want to get another shepherd, you know, after dealing with that. And you know, it's around the time where I decided, like, hey, I want to go back to this career field, that I really wanted a shepherd again. And so I started looking, and I was very particular about what I wanted. And, you know, in the back of my head, I was like, you know, it'd be great to have one, you know, a shepherd at home, because if I'm out working, you know, long shifts again, I want to know that Brittany's home safe with a dog that I know is going to protect her. And just their personalities, everything like that, I knew that he was going to follow her around and watch her. But in my head at the time, I was like, oh, I'm going to train him. You know, I'm going to have this working canine again and do all this stuff. And, you know, I finally found a law enforcement military kennel. And I went there, and she had two males that I really wanted. And one was, he was bigger, and I was like, oh, I really like him a lot. And she was like, well, he's spoken for, so, you know, the only one is this one. So right then and there, I was kind of like, all right, we're destined to have Boone. So, you know, there's no, like, getting around it. It was just getting Boone. So I get him, or, you know, Brittany and I get him, and we're driving home, and Boone just immediately was just clinging on to Brittany, and Brittany was instantly in love. So it was just, there's something there really special.
Instant connection going, right? Sort of like when y'all met.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely.
And ding, 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 folks, that's a little sign of something's going on with the universe. If anything happens and the connection's too quick, it's either a learning opportunity, which means karma, or it's something really good happening. Go ahead.
Yeah. So what's funny is, it's like we got Boone when he was 8 weeks old. And we were discussing again recently, we always talk about Boone on a regular basis. It was funny because we don't have very many memories of him as a puppy, especially getting him at 8 weeks. It felt like we got him as a puppy, and then like the very next day he was a big dog.
That's because of his all-knowing and basically he was an old soul, and you just recognized, okay, he's in a puppy suit, but hello, come on, welcome to the adults.
Yeah, no, it was just weird, like physically everything. I mean, even him, like growing up, it was so quick for him that he would get like extreme growing pains, like, I'd have to rub his paws and his shoulders and his arms so that way, kind of ease the pain for him. But I know Brittany can interject too here, but he was definitely more than just a dog. And, the interesting thing is that, all my expectations of what I originally planned on doing, like going back into the field and wanting to train him and stuff like that, like they all were, everything changed from that point on. It's like for whatever reason, I was the most overqualified candidate every time, trying to get hired, doing law enforcement, but I couldn't get back in. And I don't know why. There's never been an explanation for it.
I think Boone had other ideas for what you were going to do with your life.
Absolutely. A lot of things did change. Our life together, definitely, for Brittany and I and Boone, everything changed, the minute we got him. And
that means he's influencing your life's purpose and direction.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean,
we always felt safe and happy.
Yeah.
And the whole energy of the home completely changed when we got Boone. And I don't think there's really any other way to explain it. It's just,
because his presence, he had a heavenly presence and you didn't really know, but the bottom line was you could feel that when you're in the presence of a heavenly being, their energy emanates everywhere. You can look at them, you feel forever, you can hug them, you feel complete. And when they move around your surroundings, you can feel them and everything is like safe and okay.
Exactly. There's just never been anything like it.
Yeah, it's strange, isn't it?
Yeah, and it was true as soon as I saw him. And I didn't want him originally when he said, I'm getting a dog, because I thought we had too many. And the very second we laid eyes on each other, that was it. And that was done. And
yeah.
Well, Brittany, you get to be Brandon's earth heavenly being, and then Boone gets to be y'all's heavenly being.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It was really interesting. I mean, it's funny because, like looking, back, which doesn't even seem like long ago. I mean, it really felt like everything was yesterday. There are so many significant changes in our life. I mean,
okay, well, we're going to hold that for a minute because we got to take a sponsor's break, and then we're going to be right back.
Awesome.
Tired of wasting money on giant bags, boxes, and jugs of litter that don't last? Switch to World's Best Cat Litter, the only litter that lets you use less and get more. World's Best Cat Litter uses the concentrated power of corn to deliver outstanding odor control and easy cleanup. It's lightweight, 99% dust-free, and pet, people, and planet friendly. It's even flushable. Make the switch to World's Best Cat Litter and save $2. Visit www.saveonworldsbest.com.
Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
Well, that was a nice sponsor. God bless the sponsors. Thank you very much. Okay, now that we've established that Boone came in and rocked up everything, we want to know if you'll tell us what it felt like and how it changed and affected your life while he was walking around in a fursuit. I mean, did he redirect it? Was he correcting it? What was he doing in your life that you, when looking back upon it now, when he was in his fursuit, you were going, we didn't know it, but this is how he was affecting what was going on in our family. Tell us about that.
I know that before we had Boone, Brandon and I would argue a lot about just, stupid things, life, money, anything, stupid stresses that are
Real world stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, all the time and here and there. And then when we had Boone, things just changed. But I don't think we really saw it that way at the time. I mean, now just looking back, it all kind of seems like it makes sense. We just appreciated what we had. We don't fight at all anymore. And
You had that heavenly presence just sort of smoothed everything out.
it brings awareness to what's important in life. And, I know that him and I kind of like battled, not seriously, but with, being depressed at moments for Boone, and that no longer exists whatsoever. And I think he also helped us with direction in life. It was like we bounced around ideas here and there and never stuck to anything. And then once he was around, we found more direction of what we wanted to do and what we want in life. And before Boone, we didn't know if we wanted kids, and it was up and down. And
even marriage.
Yeah. That was like, nah, it's not important. We're together. And then when Boone came along, it was like, we want a family. We want to be married.
Oh, chills. Oof.
But it never happened before Boone.
So he was sort of like a stabilizing influence, although you didn't really think about it that way.
Yeah, not at all.
I would say like a keystone, like it really formed this whole like new set of values and ideals and everything like that. And the other thing too, the biggest thing that I think that we're failing to, or neglecting to say, is also closure and letting go of things from our past, and letting go of, like what I was saying earlier, kind of, that looking back all the time of the have-nots, like the things that I don't have anymore, that she doesn't have anymore. We stopped doing that, like everything stopped, and then our life just went on a new direction with Boone. And it was so weird, because it's just like all of a sudden we're like, now we want to be married. Now we want to have kids. Now we want we want to live on a farm. We want to do all this stuff. And it was really interesting, like all the changes that came.
But I think the biggest thing that I can honestly say is that when we had Boone, we always said how happy we are.
Yeah.
All the time. And I don't think in my entire life I've ever said, I'm happy. I'm a happy person. I love my life.
Yeah.
And we did with Boone every day to each other.
Well, that was because his energy was infusing in your energy fields.
Yeah.
Just,
You were basically getting an energy infusion from a higher being.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, it's like even people, like that would come by the house, or, clients or anything like that, they would, the minute they saw Boone, they were just like, oh my God, like so absolutely just taken by him. Immediately wanted to hug him or, pet him and play with
Ding!
him.
That's a feeling of heavenly presence. Keep going.
everyone took photos of him, which was the strangest thing, because I've never seen that before. And even
Really?
Yes, everyone would take photos of Boone. Also, even people that weren't crazy dog people.
Yeah.
Wow.
Even people who are scared of dogs, like this time, they're just like, oh my God, like I normally would be scared of, like this type of dog, but it's like they were just so like it just enthralled with him.
We have a lot of dogs, and I've never seen that kind of interaction before ever with any of our dogs or anyway.
Yeah, he was like an attraction almost,
How was he different from the other dogs? How did he behave differently from the other dogs?
He didn't want to play with the other dogs.
Yeah.
And I'd have to beg him, please go play with them. And he wouldn't. And sometimes he'd kind of give me this look, and we would laugh because he'd be like, take a deep sigh, and then just play with them for a couple minutes, and then look at me like,
okay, I did it.
I did your bidding, okay. And
exactly.
Different.
He did not play with toys unless
a ball.
Only ball if we threw it, but he wouldn't play with the ball unless we threw it.
Yeah.
Other than that, he would never play with toys ever, and he never chewed anything up. He was the perfect puppy and dog anyone could ever dream of.
Yeah.
He wasn't food aggressive. He didn't eat a lot.
Yeah.
We always thought that was bizarre.
Yeah, he'd never like come and beg for food from me, like while you're eating, like nothing whatsoever, and all the things that and all the things that like everyone else, all the other dogs want, it's like he could care less for, it's like you give him kibbles and he was just like happy to have that and then done, and then like all he really wanted was just to be by us or be with mom, the whole time, and that was it, it's all he cared about. That was like his whole world.
Another interesting thing, sometimes the dogs would kind of look at him weird.
Oh, all the
Like
time.
odd,
Yeah.
They didn't interact with him as if he was another dog, which again never made sense at the time. You never just thought it.
Yeah, it was more so like another person walking into, in to be with them,
Never played with them.
Yeah.
The rest of the dogs play and, they have a great time.
Yeah, it's just for whatever reason, they're just kind of like, they looked at him as if like,
Just backed away.
Yeah, sometimes, or they, they had this look in their eyes like, you're, like, who are you?
You're a strange dude, yeah. But what they were really doing, they were responding to his high frequency energy, because the animals respond to energy, and they were just really going like, we need to leave this one alone.
Yeah, I mean,
I think those are the biggest things that we remember that are significant, that are just different. I mean, he didn't ever destroy anything, and he was always so gentle.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, like other dogs, they have like that prey drive, and they want to like after birds and chase cats, and when like Boone didn't do like if a fly landed on him, he would just like try to like nudge it away, but he would never do anything to like try to like harm it. But it like our other female shepherd, who just so happens to be his half sister, she like one time her and our little dog, the little brown dog that he mentioned a while ago in our reading, those two, they caught a bird, the female shepherd and the little brown dog. And he was panicking, like freaking out. So instead of going over there and doing what a normal dog would do and be like, hey, let me have a piece of that bird.
The bird was okay, by the way.
Yeah, the bird was okay. Yeah, we got the bird away from them in time, but he was having a meltdown. Like, please stop this.
Absolutely. Just destroyed him.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that was sensitivity to what's the environment going on in the environment and how it was affecting everybody. So that's, again, a heavenly being sign, right? Wow. Okay, well, let's take one more break and then talk about how he transitioned and what's changed after that. Thanks, everybody. We'll be right back.
Listeners, I'd love to introduce you to PetPlate.com. They deliver freshly cooked human-grade dog food right to your door. I'm talking about dog food that is so high quality that even us humans could, technically, eat it. I've been feeding PetPlate to my pup for the last 2 weeks, and it's perfect for my picky pup, and perfect for me since I'm so busy. So if you want something super healthy, really tasty, and ready to serve, go to petplate.com/spot to get 30% off your first box. Once again, that's petplate.com/spot to get 30% off your first box. PetPlate.com.
Let's talk pets
Let's talk pets
on Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
Hi ho, hi ho. It's back to Boone we go. Thank you, sponsors, for allowing us to do this. And we're going to be right here with Brandon and Brittany Badrick. Don't you love that name? I do. It's just so, just rumbles off your tongue. And Boone. So, again, remember, this is number 2 in our series of Do You Have a Heavenly Being in an Earth Suit? And at the end of each of them, we're not going to tell you what they are, because when I see pet spirits cross over the death line after they discard their fursuit, you can tell whether they're an angel or a spirit guide, because it's a totally different color and a totally different vibration. So we're going to be giving you 3 examples, and at the end of this, like I said, you can decide which one each of these pets are. And if you want to know more about yours, you can go see my on-demand class. Now, tell us about when the time was coming and near, how Boone transitioned, and then after transition, how he's impacted your life and been a part of your life.
All right.
Well, I would start with the miscarriage.
Yeah, we were expecting our first baby, and we're very excited about it. It was, oddly enough, we're more excited about our baby for Boone than anything, like, because Boone just loved children so much.
Mm-hmm.
So we were like, it almost felt like we were having a baby more so for him than we were for us. But we were really excited. I was super excited to be a new dad, and Brittany was very excited to be a new mom. But more so than anything, we were just more excited to build our family and have that for Boone as well.
We thought we had it all figured out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say you had the whole unit there, the child, the dog, and the whole perfect unit. Yeah,
Absolutely.
the dream come true. There it was.
We thought we had everything figured out, and we were so lucky.
Yeah, exactly. And then towards the end of March, it
About
was
10 weeks.
Yeah, was it 10 weeks? Yeah, 10 weeks pregnant. We went in for our our next doctor's appointment, and they couldn't find a heartbeat, so they immediately sent us over to get an ultrasound done. And unfortunately, we found out that we lost our baby, and we were obviously very shattered by that. But it wasn't something that was like
we were destroyed at the time.
Yeah.
But I remember I had surgery, because I was so far along, and I remember coming home, and I was okay. I came home to Boone.
Yeah.
I came home to Boone and her family and her home, and we were happily married, and we knew that it would be okay.
Yeah.
So you were again focusing on what you had with gratefulness, and and not what you don't have,
Exactly.
Yeah.
because Boone was there.
Yes.
Exactly. We had a rough week of grieving.
Yeah.
That's just human. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what? For the most part, we were okay.
Yeah.
We were okay.
I
We were ready to try again, and
It was just, it's like I was working on the house on the outside. We're repainting and kind of remodeling the front of the house. And so, it's like she had Boone to comfort her, and, he's just such a goofball too. And then he always liked helping me when I was doing work outside. And
Supervising probably more.
It was that, and,
Make sure you got it right. Yeah.
you dig a hole for a tree and Boone throws ball in it as if he was helping. So
wanted to get it.
Yeah, it was a fun game.
I
but
remember he would sleep on the bed with me after surgery and stay with me, and
yeah.
he was there, so I was okay. I was all right.
Yeah, so it's like after we started, getting mentally prepared, like, okay, we're going to try again. And, like, this is okay. It's just kind of a part of nature and life, just accepting everything and Boone and, like, just our life, everything seemed like it was a little hiccup, but, it's something that we could try to do again, so it wasn't like the end of the world. And as a few more weeks went by, we had another issue. We had our Brittany's grandmother. She was living with us at the time, and it wasn't really working out. And so she ended up moving out. And so I want to say about
a week or so.
Yeah, a week or so after that, Boone started all of a sudden to kind of, it looked like he was kind of putting on weight, like almost like a bloat. And so I was kind of concerned because he's very lethargic and didn't know what was going on. I thought maybe he's just got like, something wrong with his intestinal tract or
We thought
something.
he was like maybe a little bit bloated.
Yeah,
or something
gas.
with food.
Yeah, so we took him to the vet. They ran, blood tests on him and x-rays, and they didn't find anything. They found a little bit of elevation in his blood and, his white blood cell count, showing possible sign of infection. And so they started treating him for essentially like intestinal inflammation. So we didn't really think much about it. We just thought, oh, he's just got a bunch of gas and an upset tummy, no big deal. I think another week went by, and again, he just stopped eating. He was very tired, and
Not himself.
Yeah, not himself.
He's full of life.
Yeah, very, very full of life. And so it was a Sunday, and I was with my stepfather at the time. We were celebrating his birthday, and then I came home mid-afternoon, and Boone just didn't look good. So I was like, well, we better take him to the emergency vet. And so we left and went there immediately.
I was panicking.
Yeah,
Brandon was like, it's gonna,
I was trying to be as calm as possible, because I didn't want it. I'm one of those people that used to always think the worst and expect the worst type deal. But
You were a combat medic. You were good under pressure.
yeah, I mean, it's just more so like in this case, I just wanted to,
Get it done and get it fixed.
Yeah, and I didn't want to get Brittany upset either by saying like, oh, it's probably bad. So we get to the vet, and they do an ultrasound on him and find out that he has a type of cancer. It's called hemangiocarcinoma, and that there's no cure for it. Even if you found it early, there's nothing you can do for it, and it's real quick and done. That's it. So what they do is there are tumors that grow on the organs, and then they kind of rupture and start bleeding. So that bloating that we saw in his stomach that won't show up on x-rays was actually just blood leaking out. And if we took him home, he would have only had about 3 more hours to live, and we would have lost him more tragically that way than saying goodbye to him at the vet. It was very sudden, we still get very emotional talking about it and thinking about it. It was very difficult because just out of nowhere, that was her baby boy. And, it's like that whole first few hours without him, it was absolutely the worst. And even today, it's still very painful.
Yeah.
It's very, very tough. But oddly enough, since he's been gone from his Earth suit, a lot of interesting things have actually happened in our life.
Now, did he give you a sign coming back from the vets?
There's that noise. Remember that?
I was out. We have a big flower pot. It's like tin, and I was bawling, and I don't remember. I think I said he's not here or something. I can't feel him. And then this loud bang on the tin.
Yeah.
I've heard, and we keep seeing flashes on the side.
Yeah, like in the corners of our eyes.
Oh, that's boom. Yeah.
Well, here's something really interesting, actually. So I don't know if you saw that photo. I know I sent it to you, but it's we have lavender planted that we just freshly planted that Boone helped plant.
Well, it's important, yeah.
Yeah, it was when he was still here, and he accidentally stepped on one of the plants, on one of the lavender plants, and a piece of it broke off. And oddly enough, since he left us, that is the plant that is growing the biggest, and it's the only one that is growing flowers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No heavenly influence there.
No, it was really interesting. And,
Well, we started looking at all of his photos, of course, and we would have never have noticed this, but a lot of his puppy photos. We took a look, and there is, I'm going to sound like a crazy person.
No, you're not.
There's a purple hue.
Yeah, no, I told you. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Fur, but this one doesn't have any sunlight rays on it.
Yeah.
But his fur and his ears and his nose have a purple hue to it.
Yeah.
And we never noticed
noticed it.
And I've looked at this photo a million times.
Now, see, when I looked at it, I went, whoa. Whoa.
Well, what's even more interesting, too, is out of one day, Brittany decided to start kind of cleaning up this area on her dresser. And her best friend in California, for whatever reason, out of all the photos that, her been taken of Brittany as a child, with her and her best friend, her mom decided to give Brittany this one photo a couple of months ago. And in the photo, it's really weird, but there's orbs all around Brittany, and they're giant.
Oh, cool. Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's really really interesting. And and she just so happened to put that photo in a card that I gave Brittany, I want to say on Mother's Day, not this last Mother's Day, but the year before, that I signed from Boone,
Oh, wow.
Top print in it. And she had it, and she accidentally put that photo in that card. And it was just very, very, very interesting.
But we were talking about that photo last night at my grandmother's house, and all of a sudden her dining room light started to flicker for, 10 minutes?
Go Boone.
Yeah, out of nowhere. And then we turned the light off and turned it back on, and it worked just fine, so it wasn't the light bulb.
Go Boone.
Yeah, and, it's we've asked Penny, that's a small brown dog, and I was they're best friends.
She's very sad.
Yeah, she's very sad. She's very different now. But the one thing that's interesting is that we ask her all the time, hey, do you see Boone? And she'll literally get up and walk over to, just an area, and she'll, look up as if she's looking up at a person.
Oh, wow.
That's always 7 or 8 feet tall. It's always the same height, which is odd if we're outside or inside.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Just always there.
Cool.
Yeah, and then, and she'll wag her tail and be all happy and just stare as if she's looking directly, at something.
As if she sees energy. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. That's for any of the skeptics, I guess, is have to put it that way.
Well, last night, though, when the light flickered, she went into the dining room and started staring into that room.
And then
up at the same height distance.
Yeah, it was, and then the other thing is, every time I'm out driving, it's as if he programmed a radio station to talk to me. It's every single song that comes on is literally something, I love you and I want this, and, I'm always going to be there for you. And along the gist of those lines.
I get, every time I get in my car, Mike always sends Hello from the Other Side by Adele.
Yeah. That's so funny. I always get, or now 2 times in a row, I've had Stairway to Heaven, and then I'll be watching you fall in the
Yeah.
I'm oh my God, really? absolutely. But
the interesting part, though, from what we've been doing is we now started we're in the works.
Yeah.
It's been not that long of starting a vegan blog.
Good.
I think it's just a starting point and a stepping stone to something else. But we would love to do
our barn, our rescue farm,
horses and cows and.
Okay, folks, if there's anybody out there, you might want to talk to them and see if you want to get together to help do a rescue barn. You got folks with a heavenly being guiding them, and
absolutely, thank you.
Now, are you doing this vegan blog, or have you named it, or are you going to name it later, or?
We named it.
Yeah, we named it. Right now, we're just we got to finish up.
It's called Boone's Way.
Yeah,
Boone's Way. Okay, so be looking on the internet, folks, for Boone's Way Vegan. Is this going to be for people and pets, or?
Yes, it's going to be people, pets, lifestyle.
Just something fun and friendly.
Yeah.
I think a lot of vegan blogs out there kind of are very strict and judgmental sometimes.
That's why I don't do it completely. It's like so I might be so it's Boone's Way, and it's about is it Boone'sWay.com?
Yes, that's what it's going to be.
That's what it's going to be. It's not up yet. But we've been working on it, and I feel like we have such a gift, and we need to. I don't want to let them down.
Yeah,
I don't.
It's just been funny, it's like both Brittany and I have been a lot more, open to all the signs and, going now we're going to church, but more so than anything, I've been a lot more, I guess, more calm in my daily activities, I'm more lightheaded or cool-headed, I guess you could say. Brittany's
not as angry driving.
Yeah, not as angry driving, a lot more patience. But, I've been more, I guess, in touch with being able to communicate with Boone. And, with that comes, it's very reciprocated. I'm getting a lot of communication back from him, which has been great.
Cool.
Yeah, and, it's nice. And it's funny, too, that the thing is I feel like Boone communicates with me a lot to then relay the message back to Brittany, because Brittany, still it's still very raw for her. Mm-hmm. So it's hard to be open to things like that when you're
you can be open to it, but it doesn't mean you can receive it, because your energy base, when Mike died, I was so raw, my energy base wasn't receptive because it was still responding to the loss of his earth suit.
Yes.
So it's not that she's not receptive to it, it's just her earth vibration can't hold a higher vibration because it's still in the grieving stages. It's so strong and so raw, and that's what makes it her less receptive. Doesn't make her less able to do it. It just means at this stage, her energy doesn't mesh as well with a higher frequency because of the pain she's still humanly feeling, which is right and natural.
Yeah.
Well, Brandon's very, I guess, spiritual already. Like, he already has that sense. He's had that.
Yeah, I've always been very, I guess, intuitive, I guess you could say.
He's brought it to the forefront. Boone's brought it to the forefront.
I just ignored it for a long time. And
naughty boy.
Yeah, now it's back, and
since Boone.
Yeah, since Boone. And the thing that's most interesting is, it's like, I know that Brittany right now, she's still going through a lot, and same with me, but I know that I'm more logical a lot of things. So, and I know that Boone knows that too. I think
it's too about your training. You were brought up in the middle of the being bombed in the war field to not flinch. You need to stay focused, and you're in the middle of the worst. And so a lot of that's your training too.
Yeah, no, for sure. So it's just been really nice. So it's like every little sign, every little thing, it's like, I don't want to try to interpret it. I don't want to try to question it. Instead of asking why all the time, it's more so of like, how can I do what you're, with the sign. Mm-hmm. So that's what's been the most interesting thing, is just turning the whys into the how do you want me to do this now? Where's that guidance? Let me, show me the way type deal. And, it's been interesting. It really has, because Brittany and I have been making a lot of choices that we would usually sit for days and contemplate on. And now it's more so of just like, all right, let's just go do this.
Yeah, we used to procrastinate everything, which was not good because we're both that way. And since Boone, we don't do that.
Yeah, we're
That's
very.
right, yeah.
I guess the fire's been lit
Like
under our rears. To get.
Well,
away.
you're doing it Boone's way now, right?
Yeah, we're doing it Boone's way. Just go and do it and get it done.
Just
And
get
it's-
on with it. Have faith that if you're supposed to do it, it'll go, and if it's not, it'll stop you.
And what's interesting is that it's all been fairly easy. Things have just been coming to us. Which is odd because
That's called in the flow. Yep.
it's just been easy, and when we want to do it, it's there and we can do it. I don't know how to explain it, but it's just been
I get it.
it feels meant to be, as if
Yeah.
we're on the right path.
Yeah.
And see, now you're allowing it, and you're listening, and you're not worried about how it's going to turn out, because if it's not supposed to turn out, you know that you will be turned around, and if it is supposed to turn out, you know you'll be pushed from behind.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's been really I don't know, it's definitely a life-changing experience, that's for sure. It's like we as humans, we're very selfish because we want, that, we want his Earth suit, we want him here, in front of us so we can feel and touch and play with and Brittany can hug onto. But, at the same time, him not being here, I feel like he's able to do more, than him being here physically.
Mhm.
So that's the thing that I'm always trying to kind of get across to Brittany, is like he's able to do more for us than anything. So, it's like him being able to be here during our hardest time and then to transition to be with us now in what's supposed to be our most triumphant times, like to be able to go and move forward and achieve these goals and to do better things in life. It's like I know to my core that he's able to do more from there.
He was only 2 years.
Yeah, he
9
was only
months.
2 years, 9 months old, So
Well,
it's like,
when a heavenly being comes down, they don't need long to change your life and affect the rest of your life.
No.
And when their present comes in, they just come in, check in, let you know, hey, I'm here for you. I'm going to be here for you for the rest of your lives. Now I've done what I'm supposed to. Okay, I'm out of here. And now let's get on with what you came to do on earth to do.
yeah.
It's just looking into those eyes.
Yeah.
There's not a way to explain it unless you've actually experienced it. That
That's
kind of
true.
love and happiness.
Yeah.
I think people are just going to say, yeah, you loved your dog.
Yeah.
No, because I'm sitting here looking into a picture of Mike's eyes, and I still get that same forever feeling.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
It permeates every particle of your being. So
Well, it's weird. There's just such a pureness, and there's such a pureness and such a, I guess, innocence to it. But it's
it's
such
clear.
Yeah, when you look in their eyes, you don't see it.
It's not, I want a milk bone. It's
Yeah,
clear.
exactly.
So if you were going to sum up everything about having had a heavenly being, was it worth the entire events, the good, the bad, and the ugly? And do you think it will forever change you? And what would you say to anybody out there doubting it's real?
Well, to answer the last question, it's definitely real. I mean, coming from a person who was very, I guess you could say, agnostic in a way,
Mhm.
I realized with Boone and how clear as day these signs are, it's not necessarily like I was looking for them. They just showed up. And then even if I question it, then another one would show up, So it's like it made me realize that I was kind of living my life backwards in a way, my views. And it completely changed my views to this whole other thing where I'm just like, okay, I'm clearly looking at things wrong. Boone has showed me the right way. And I guess the best way I can describe it is, it's like you look at things and you question them, you question the why, instead of just being free flowing and going with it like most, I guess, people of faith are. They just kind of go with things and they live these wonderful, nice, enriched lives. It's like that's one of the things that we're missing. And so he showed us that, and he made it as clear as day. And so, I mean, if that doesn't make you
Wake up
and wake
or
up,
inspire you.
exactly, then you're just blind, and
I think it's just feeling that happiness that I felt.
yeah,
It's a feeling.
Yeah.
It's
Completion. You feel a completeness.
Yeah.
Fullness.
and not realizing it until he was gone, how much. I mean, I knew what I had,
yeah.
but I mean, I guess I didn't know fully to the extent of what
Yeah.
I had.
And it's like your other question, if we had to do it all over again, I would go right now. I would go get him right now and do it all over again.
I'd go through this all over again to have another second with him.
Yeah, if I had a vivid dream of him, I want to say about 2-3 days after he passed. And I remember where I was standing there in front of him, and he was just looking at me all happy with that just innocent face of his. And I was just asking him for just 3 more days for whatever reason. I just kept saying 3 more days. And he just looked at me, and it's just, I'll continue. And same with Brittany, we'll always continue to want to go through this all over again if it means that we get those learning lessons and we get to be with Boone and all that. So.
And if you get him for the rest of your being.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like,
it's not dead. It's not dead and done. It's we'll dead and a new journey.
Yeah, absolutely. So, it's like now we have to look at it from a different perspective of instead of getting it or reliving it, it's like we do have him here every day. And I think it's still just an adjustment period.
It is. That's a human thing.
Yeah, it is. And it sucks. It's not easy to do.
Nope.
That's sure,
But it's requiring you to believe and have faith in what you can't hug.
Yeah.
Earthly hug, because you can touch them, see them, and feel them.
Yeah.
But it's taking away that earth reality and asking you to step higher into belief and faith.
It's all the things that science cannot explain.
Right. So that your heart can.
Yeah, exactly. Your heart and your soul can.
I just don't think anyone else can understand unless they've really been through it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I know I wouldn't be able to.
Yep. But that's why you get to share with everybody else, and we are grateful. Thank you for sharing with everybody, and thank you for being on our show, and yay, Boone.
Yeah.
And again, if anybody wants to do a rescue farm, you can write to our radio station, and Brent at BrentAtwater.com. We can help do that and see you Boone's way, the vegans, and it'll help you maybe eat a little more vegetables like I should, and maybe Boone's way will make me want to really enjoy them.
Hopefully we'll find a way to make people enjoy it too.
Yeah, I do V8. That gives me 3 vegetables and I'm good.
Yeah, we don't want to be uptight and just grab about it.
I got you. So again, thank y'all very much. Thank you, Boone. Now, all right, folks, you have to decide, is Boone an angel or a spirit guide? And if you don't know, you can take my class, and that'll help you know. And then we will look forward to seeing you in our Facebook groups if you need extra help. And if you want to know how to do some of this that these folks are gifted can do, just check out my book, After Death Signs. And we'll see you soon in another show. Bye.
Let's Talk Pets, every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.